So Harlem is my birthplace. My birthright has to do with Harlem. And when I started to, think about black writers, it was in Harlem. I mean, I went to that library over here, right there next door. Before that,
and that's the County Cullen, isn't it?
The County Cullen is on 136th Street, but that was the 131st Street branch right there, right that building right there. So right there, baby. So I'm happy that they didn't tear it down because historically it connects. Because we can think about all the writers from the Harlem Renaissance who went to these libraries. I mean, the YMCA is right up the street, so Langston was there, County Cullen, Claude McKay. I mean, their spirits are still walking these streets. So.
Yes.
And all that work is here for us, It's very important for us to be here. So demanding that I couldn't treat with the fiction. I really had to just live out her questions and her story and work on that. And that took 10 years to write. So this had to sit aside for 10 years.
Yes.
And then, so that means from 1994 to 2004 when the Lord biography came out, this just kind of was in a drawer somewhere.
Right.
Then a couple of years after the Lord book came out in 2006, I went back to this because I really wanted to do it. But by the time I went back to it, I had also been teaching a graduate course called Writing Women's Bodies, and a number of graduate courses around Black diasporic women's literatures, gender and sexuality, yada, yada, yada. And in the course of that time, I also had 3 female students who became F to M's, females to males. So they transgendered. And my conversations with them helped me to understand that I was reading women in a deeply biological sense. In a fixed sense at that. So therefore I was reading gender in a fixed sense, either male or female. And so they helped me to understand that gender was much wider than that, much broader than that. And that if I wanted to talk with them, I would have to have a wider discourse around gender. So I started looking into it. I started reading people like Anne Fausto Sterling, people who were really looking at gender and looking at the broad range of genders that really does exist. And a lot of the stuff that I was reading I thought, did not include people of color. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to use fiction was because I actually think of fiction as the work of possibilities. Like, not so much what is, but what can be. What can we imagine that we could be? What can we imagine the blueprint is? Or the blueprint can be, or a blueprint can be.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted to do fiction, because I wanted to have the widest availability of the spiritual world in the answering of these questions. I wanted to be visited. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was visited in this work.